Jessica Walsh pressed herself against the cold brick wall behind Riverside High's equipment shed, counting seconds. At 20, Brian Foster's crew would turn the corner, and she could move again. Her brother Danny had taught her this before he deployed, how to track patterns, stay invisible. Now his laptop was hers, and invisibility had become her superpower. She slipped out, clutching her backpack containing the laptop with its detailed map of every camera angle, every blind spot, every safe route. When you're the daughter of the night janitor, when your clothes come from donation boxes, you learn that visibility equals vulnerability. She navigated the hallways with practiced efficiency. Locker 847 was in the dead zone between cameras. She worked her combination quickly, grabbed her chemistry textbook, and kept moving. "The ghost strikes again," someone muttered. Jessica didn't react. Ghosts didn't get noticed. Ghosts didn't get targeted. But even ghosts cast shadows. Brian Foster stood near the trophy case like he owned it. All-state linebacker, 2 years running. Son of Police Chief Robert Foster. In Riverside, the Foster name meant everything. 3 weeks ago, Jessica had made a mistake. Eating lunch in what she thought was an empty classroom. She'd hidden behind desks as Brian detailed his steroid distribution network to teammates. His uncle supplied it. His father made sure no one asked questions. Brian had doubled back for his phone, and their eyes met. No words exchanged. Both knew what she'd heard. "Hey, Casper," Brian called now. "How's the haunting business?" Jessica kept walking. Brian's hand grabbed her backpack, yanking her backward. "I'm talking to you. Didn't your mom teach you manners?" "Oh, wait, she's too busy scrubbing toilets." Jessica went limp, submitting. Brian released her with a shove. "Pathetic. No wonder her dad took off." She straightened her backpack and continued. Inside, counting. 193 days until graduation. Chemistry class was her sanctuary. Mrs. Patterson ran a tight ship. Jessica slid into her back corner seat, trying to focus despite her aching ribs. "You okay?" whispered Samantha Chin. "Fine," Jessica murmured. Kindness was dangerous. It created connections, and connections created visibility. "If he's bothering you, you should tell someone. I'm fine," Jessica repeated sharply. Samantha's mom might be on the school board, but the board answered to the athletic boosters, who answered to families like the Fosters. When the final bell rang, Jessica miscalculated. The direct route past the gym was risky, but the sports ground should be empty. Football practice was on the far field. Halfway across, wind caught her chemistry homework, scattering papers. She abandoned caution, chasing them. Near the tennis courts, gathering the last pages, a shadow fell across her. Well, look what the wind blew in." Brian stood above her, flanked by 3 teammates. They must have skipped practice. "I'm just getting my homework," Jessica said quietly. "Your homework? This is our sports complex. Foster Athletic Complex. Our space. I'll leave. You'll leave when I say." Brian's voice dropped conversationally. "See, I've been thinking about our ghost problem. You drift around listening to everything. That's not very friendly." Jessica's fingers found the phone in her pocket. Danny's old phone with a cracked screen but working camera. She pressed power, angling it slightly. "What's that?" Brian's hand shot out. The phone went flying. "Were you recording me?" The shove came hard and fast. Jessica stumbled backward, her heel catching the concrete steps. Suddenly she was falling. Sky and ground switched places. Impact, sharp, crushing pain as her shoulder hit a step. She lay at the bottom, dazed, tasting copper. Brian descended deliberately. "You know what your problem is, Ghost Girl? You don't understand the natural order. Some people matter, some don't." His foot connected with her ribs. Jessica curled into herself, unable to breathe, protecting vital organs as her body remembered lessons from when her father still lived with them. "You're nothing," Brian continued, each word punctuated with another kick. "Less than nothing." "Hey, Brian, Coach will be looking for us," a teammate called. Brian walked to the equipment shed, emerging with a large orange cooler. Ice water sloshed inside. "You look hot. Let me help you cool off." His foot pressed down on her back, pinning her. The ice water hit like 1,000 needles. It flooded her nose, her mouth, turned her clothes into frozen weights. October in Ohio was already bitter. Soaked, she felt her temperature plummeting. Brian crouched beside her fallen backpack, pulling a small plastic baggie from his pocket. "No," she tried to say. "Shut up." He stuffed the baggie deep inside before zipping it closed. "Looks like our ghost has been hiding more than just herself. Wonder what the police will think." Around them, the crowd dispersed. Someone laughed. Someone mentioned uploading video later. Most just walked away. "Remember this moment?" Brian said, leaning down. "This is what happens when nobodies forget their place. And if you even think about telling anyone about our business arrangement, who's going to believe a drugging janitor's daughter over the police chief's son?" Jessica lay where they'd left her, soaked and shivering. The baggie in her backpack felt like a lead weight. She could already see how this would play out. Anonymous tip, locker search, case closed. Eye in the distance, she saw the school security camera. Its red light steady. Not blinking, steady. But that was impossible. She'd marked that camera as broken last week. Unless someone had fixed it. Jessica finally crawled to her phone, still lying where Brian had thrown it. The screen was cracked worse, but it worked. She could call someone. But who? Her mother was at her second job. The police would arrest her over the planted pills. So Jessica gathered her belongings, pulled herself to her feet despite screaming injuries, and began the long walk home. The camera continued its silent vigil. She didn't know Michael Torres, head of maintenance, had been watching from his office window. She didn't know he'd fixed that camera 2 weeks ago after witnessing another incident he couldn't prove. She didn't know he was already downloading the footage to his personal drive. Jessica didn't go to school for 3 days. She told her mother she had the flu. On the 4th day, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Jessica, this is Michael Torres from maintenance. Don't hang up. I saw what happened. I have something you need to see. Can you meet me at the Riverside Diner?" "I don't know what you're talking about." "The camera wasn't broken, Jessica. I fixed it 2 weeks ago. I have everything." An hour later, Michael pushed a USB drive across the diner table. "I've been watching Brian Foster for months after what he did to the Martinez kid last year. So I started fixing the broken cameras one by one off the books." "Why?" "Because I have a daughter. When she was at Riverside, kids like Brian made her life hell. I couldn't do anything then. But I swore if I ever got the chance." He pushed the drive closer. "It's all there. The assault, him planting the drugs. Crystal clear audio. But if this comes out, they'll come after both of us. They already planted drugs on me. What else can they do?" Michael's expression was grim. "You'd be surprised. But I've made copies, hidden them. Insurance policy." He slid a business card across. "Jennifer Kim, Channel 9 reporter. Used to work for the Cleveland Plain Dealer, did a series on police corruption. The Fosters tried to bury her career, but she's tougher than she looks. Why are you helping me?" "Because invisible people need to look out for each other." That night, Jessica watched the footage. Every shove, every kick, every word captured in high definition. Brian's face clearly visible as he planted the drugs. But what hit hardest was seeing herself, small, helpless, trying to disappear. Her phone rang. Danny's face appeared, calling from Germany. Jess, Mom said you've been sick. You okay? She almost lied. No, I'm not okay. The story poured out. By the end, Danny's expression had gone murderous. I'm coming home. You can't. I need you to help me differently. Remember what you taught me about authentication? Proving footage hasn't been tampered with. They worked through the night, creating cryptographic hashes, timestamps, metadata verification, a digital chain of custody that would stand up in court. Jennifer Kim met her downtown. The reporter watched the footage, her expression darkening. This is going to explode. You understand that? Once this airs, there's no going back. There are drugs in my backpack that he planted. If I don't do something, I'll be arrested the moment I go back to school. Okay. I need corroborating witnesses, character statements, documentation of previous incidents. We'll build a story so airtight the Foster machine can't punch holes in it. The story broke Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Exclusive investigation. Star athlete caught on camera assaulting student, planting evidence. The footage played in segments with expert analysis. Michael Torres appeared in shadow, his maintenance log showing which cameras he'd fixed. 3 other students shared their experiences with Brian's violence. But the killing blow was the audio enhancement. Danny had isolated Brian's words. Who's going to believe a drugging janitor's daughter over the police chief's son? Within an hour, the video was trending. Justice for Jessica spread like wildfire. By midnight, Riverside High's Facebook page was flooded with outraged comments. Jessica watched from her bedroom, feeling strangely detached. She just wanted to be invisible. Now her face was on every screen. Chief Foster held a press conference. These allegations are baseless. The video has clearly been doctored. But cracks showed. The district attorney was notably absent. Someone leaked Brian's previous disciplinary file, showing years of violence. David Martinez, a civil rights attorney, laid out their options at Jessica's kitchen table. We can file criminal charges, civil charges, or both. But this is going to get uglier. They'll dig into every aspect of your life. Do it, Maria Walsh said quietly. We've been invisible long enough. The war began. Brian's lawyers claimed the video was deep-faked. Technical experts tore their claims apart. They accused Jessica of being a drug dealer. Her clean record destroyed that narrative. They painted her as a troubled teen. Her perfect grades said otherwise. But the Fosters had resources. Maria was subjected to random drug tests. Their apartment was inspected after anonymous tips. Danny's unit received inquiries about his stability. But something unexpected happened. The invisible people became visible. Mrs. Kowalski testified about Jessica's character. Samantha Chen organized a walkout. Athletes came forward admitting Brian had sold them steroids, threatened them, hurt them. The tipping point came when someone leaked footage from inside the police station showing Chief Foster discussing how to plant more evidence. The FBI got involved. 3 months later, Brian Foster stood trial. Jessica sat in the witness box, no longer invisible. Isn't it true you were jealous of Mr. Foster's success? His lawyer pressed. No. I just wanted to graduate without being assaulted. You claim my client planted drugs. Check the fingerprints. Only his are on the baggie, not mine, because I never touched it. The verdict, guilty on all counts. Brian got 3 to 5 years. His father resigned in disgrace, followed by federal indictment. But visibility came with a price. Death threats arrived daily. Maria lost her job, officially budget cuts. Danny faced increased scrutiny. They were forced to move. 6 months later, Jessica stood before Congress, part of a panel on school safety. She wore the same navy jacket, carefully mended. Miss Walsh, your story has touched millions. What would you like to tell us? Jessica looked at her prepared statement, then set it aside. I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be safe, to learn, to graduate, to build a life. Instead, I became a symbol, a hashtag. She paused. You want to talk about school safety? Let's talk about kids who are invisible until they're victims. Let's talk about how we only care about evidence when it's dramatic enough for the evening news. Why it takes a viral video for anyone to believe that people like Brian Foster exist in every school. I'm grateful the camera was working that day. But what about all the days it wasn't? What about kids hurt in blind spots where nobody's watching? That footage showed everything, but it took someone choosing to watch it, to care, to act. How many more kids have to be assaulted on camera before we admit the system is broken? Outside the Capitol, a young girl approached nervously. Are you Jessica Walsh? I wanted to thank you. There's a boy at my school. Nobody would listen. But after your story, my principal started taking it seriously. They installed new cameras. The girl hugged her quickly and ran back to her family. Jessica walked toward the metro station. Behind her, lawmakers debated the Jessica Walsh School Safety Act, mandating functional cameras, independent review of footage, protections for students who report bullying. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was something. As the train pulled away, Jessica caught her reflection in the window. No longer the terrified girl trying to disappear, but not quite comfortable with who she'd become. Somewhere between invisible and exposed, she'd found a third option, choosing when to be seen. The footage had shown everything. But Jessica Walsh had shown something more, that invisible people didn't have to stay invisible. That sometimes the most powerful thing you could do was simply refuse to disappear.